Morning, Pete. We didn't see Chandler Stevenson or Alex Tuck out there today. Just what are the updates on both of their statuses?
I would call them game time decisions. Because they weren't out there this morning doesn't mean that they're not an option, but both will be game time decisions.
Reminder for media, you can raise your hand below if there's any questions for P. We'll pause a moment for a few more to come through. We'll go back to Ben Goetz, Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Ben?
Hi again, Pete. We saw Tomas Yurko skating with Keegan Colasar and Nicholas Waugh. If he has to go in the lineup tonight, just what have you seen from him so far in practices?
Yeah, Thomas is a guy who I've obviously seen playing for other NHL teams. I thought he came in and had a really good training camp here and, went down to Henderson and then was called back up on the taxi squad and has been kind of hanging around waiting for an opportunity. And, you see his skill level. He's a veteran guy. It's not going to be his first game if he plays. So he's got a little bit of that experience where he's not going to be overwhelmed. And, I think anybody that's on our taxi squad, deserves to be there and deserves the opportunity to play if we need them. And I've got no problem putting them in if that's the case.
This question this morning goes to Justin Emerson with the Las Vegas Sun.
Justin.
Good morning, Pete. You guys have had a couple of winning streaks this year. You've won 3 in a row right now. I guess when you've won a couple in a row, what's the key to balancing, maybe making adjustments to making sure that you're not, I guess, predictable and not changing too much? Clearly it's working.
Yeah. Well, I credit our group with the streaks because you're never going to have your A game over 3, 6, 7, 8 games. You're going to have some games there through those stretches where, either your energy's not there or, you're mentally fatigued. And especially as you get into the meat of the season, which we're in right now, the schedule starts to really catch up on you. So you've got to win different ways. Some nights it's everyone firing on all cylinders. Some nights it's like the other night where, your goalie's your best player and you get a timely power play goal. So, I think our group has done a good job of recognizing the nights where, maybe we're not on, and we found a way to limit the damage and be opportunistic on the other end.
Go to David Shane, Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hey, David.
Hi, Pete. Sort of along those same lines, it seemed like in the first period there was an effort from the other side to really kind of stir things up, I guess. It seemed like as the game went along and you guys were able to play hockey and get away from that, maybe you were the better team. Is there an emphasis tonight on just avoiding, a lot of the shenanigans and just sticking to hockey, I guess, for lack of a better phrase?
Yeah, that's definitely a piece of it. It's easier said than done when you've got rivals and you've got some of the characters that are involved in this rivalry. But absolutely, I think for us, this is about keeping our composure and we want to play 5-on-5 and we want to establish our 4-line game. That's when we're playing our best.
Time for a few more this morning with Pete DeBoer. Next question for him goes to Vince Sapienza, Channel 5, Las Vegas.
Hey, Vince.
Hey, Pete. I know Robin Lehner's only been back with you guys a couple of days now, and you said to reintegrate him into the group. I'm just curious, is it something that you need to see from him before, or is it him talking to you, giving his updates in terms of, getting to that day-to-day situation and eventually being available?
Yeah, he's a veteran guy. We're relying on him. At the same time, there's a bare minimum after being out the length of time that he's been out that you have to do as far as reintegrating into practice and getting up to NHL speed. So, but we're relying a lot on a veteran guy like that to let us know how he's feeling, and he's feeling good right now.
Go to Willie Ramirez from the Associated Press.
Hey, Willie.
Hey, Pete. The other day, Jonathan had said he had mentioned. I asked him about the training regimen and conditioning and recovery with this type of schedule, where these guys are used to playing every other day in a regular season, but then they have 3-4 days off. This season's different, and he said the biggest thing is sleep. How much are you staying in contact with your training staff and maybe reminding the guys, hey, go home and go to bed, go to sleep, get some rest as far as their recovery time?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like the previous question, easier said than done, particularly when we've got, I would guess maybe the most kids in households per player than any team in the league. I think Petro's got 4 and Reeves has got 3 and Patch has got 5. So, I think your best intentions are obviously to get 8 hours, but we anybody with kids has been there. You get home at 2 or 3 in the morning from a road trip. The kids are bouncing on your bed at 7 a.m. because they haven't seen you in 10 days. So it's not easy with the family dynamic, but God bless our players' wives, because I think they do a phenomenal job of trying to help in that area.
Do 2 more questions for Pete. Next one goes to Danny Webster, NHL.com.
Hey, Danny.
Morning, Pete. Just go back to the injury front. I kind of got on late, so I didn't know if you had an update on Pietrangelo and alongside with Lehner. Do you expect him to dress tonight, or is it still part of a day-to-day thing?
Petro, no update. Just he's out. I think I used the word for the foreseeable future, but I'm not worried about anything long term. And Lenny will be a game time decision. I think he's ready to reintegrate and back up and start to play here, real soon. I think there's some logistics with long-term injury and things that isn't my department that goes into some of that, but he's real close.
Last question for Pete this morning comes from Paul Strzeski, NHL.com.
Hey, Paul.
Good morning, Pete. Zdeno Chara turns 44 years old tomorrow. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on just seeing a guy this late in his career playing at this level and the longevity he's been able to demonstrate here in the NHL.
Yeah, it's incredible. I had the good fortune of coaching Jaromir Jagr in his 40s, Marty Brodeur at 40, and Joe Thornton at 40. So that's rare air. And the best perspective I can give you, and just place it on Chara with a different position was, I remember someone telling me that Joe Thornton for 20 years as a number 1 center has watched the first draft pick come in every year, who's one of the top players in the world, and try and take his job, and has kept his job. When you think about that and the number of players and the best young players in the world coming in every year over a career that long and trying to displace you, and you're still able to play at that level, it's an incredible feat. So amazing.
Pete, thanks for your time.
Hey, Robin. Just what's it been like being back with the team and being at practice again after, basically a month and a half away?
No, it feels really good. It's not fun to be it's not fun to be injured. It's especially a situation that's the whole COVID thing. It's even more isolation, and it's nice to kind of get back into a routine again, be around the guys, and I've missed it a lot, so it's good to be back.
Next question for Robin comes from David Shane, Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hi, Robin. Can you just go back to the morning skate when you were injured and maybe just take us through that day? I believe you had went to the arena and then left.
Yeah, no, it's a while ago now. It's kind of thing with concussions. You don't really know with the symptoms, and it kind of felt okay. And then I didn't pass some of the tests, and had to go home, and just kept getting worse. So injuries are tough, but concussions are kind of for me personally, it's the toughest ones to kind of get through, because they're so inconsistent, and it goes back and forth. So I'm really happy. I'm doing great right now, and back with the team.
We'll go to Jesse Granger with The Athletic.
Hey, Robin, is this the first time you've dealt with a concussion in your career? And maybe if it isn't, how did it compare?
No, it's not first time. It's this is my third one, and you can't compare them. They're all so different. That's what's tough with concussions. Symptoms are different, and you can feel good one day or good in the morning, and it comes back at night, and it's a very frustrating injury that you have to deal with. But on the plus side, the league has gotten a lot better with them, and this team has been great, and we've been doing all the right things and giving me all the tools necessary to do a safe and speedy recovery. So I definitely appreciate that compared to my first concussion that I had in Ottawa.
Next question for Robin Lehner comes from Justin Emerson, the Las Vegas Sun.
Pete said that he's kind of had a dialogue with you about just kind of how you're feeling and when you feel like you'll be ready to go. So I guess just to ask you, how close do you think you are to being ready to get back into game action?
It's hard to say. I mean, I've been on the ice for a little bit now. I feel pretty good on the ice. But again, there's we'll see when the best time is, or what they decide. I feel ready. But again, whenever the team needs me to play, I'll do my best and try to get back to where I need to be to help the team to win. But it's been great couldn't follow the team much in the beginning, but the last couple of weeks been playing great. Flower's been amazing, and it's just good to see our team having success.
Next question goes to Vince Sapienza, Channel 5, Las Vegas.
Hey, Robin. I'm just curious, what is the difficulty level for you when, this is your third concussion, as you said, but you want to get back on the ice, but you also know the effects are obviously incredibly serious. So is that a tough balance for you in terms of you not rushing yourself, or is it pretty easy in terms of taking it day by day?
No, I mean, that's why I've been so impressed with this organization, how different, and it can be frustrating for an athlete at times to sit out, and you try to rush back in. It's just the nature of being an athlete, but they really take your health first here, and they try to do the right they do the right things, and I'm very happy with how it's gone, and I'm just happy that I'm doing better, because it's not easy to get through those concussions sometimes, and but it's been great. Yeah.
Time for three more here with Robin Lehner. Next one goes to Willie Ramirez, Associated Press.
Hi, Robin. You obviously been very open in the past about your mental health and bipolar diagnosis, and I'm not sure how that affects, but with the concussion, can that be somewhat scary? And that you had, I don't know if it can affect one or the other, but you also have to take that in consideration and medication and somewhat. Does one tie in with the other, and does that sort of put a bit of anxiety on you and concern?
No, I mean, I'd be lying if it doesn't can play a part with a concussion. Some of the symptoms with concussions can be similar to other symptoms that I've gotten before. But as I said, I have an incredibly good team on my side, together with this team and my psychiatrist, and we've done all the right things. And I think hardest part for me is like everyone's experiencing, right? With the whole COVID isolation, all that stuff. Um, it's been frustrating, and it's mentally taxing for a lot of people in the world right now. You add on a concussion where you kind of get even more isolated than what you already are. It can be difficult. But as I said, I've been really good or fortunate to have this organization and the team that I have around me that's been helping. So now I feel pretty good. I feel ready to play. And it's a mental good boost for me too, to be around this great group of guys again.
Time for two more today with Robin Lehner. Next question goes to Paul Struzewski, NHL.com.
Good morning, Robin. Zdeno Chara turns 44 years old tomorrow. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on what goes through your mind when you see somebody, 15 years older than you are still playing, and what do you hope to be doing at 44 years old?
Well, there's not much. There's not much you can say. I mean, Chara has obviously had an amazing career. Heard nothing but good stuff about him. It's obviously really impressive. Shows what a type of pro and leader he's been throughout his career. I mean, that's something we all as players strive for, right? This is it's the game we love. We all want to play for as long as we can and perform for as long as we can. And I mean, there's not many many players that reach to 42, and it's obviously an impressive achievement.
Final question this morning for Robin. We'll go to David Shane, Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Robin, I'm going to be careful how I ask this. There were some whispers going around the league a little bit that you weren't hurt. My question to you is, did you hear that? And does it anger you that you didn't get the benefit of the doubt while you were away?
Yeah, I mean, I did hear it. That's why, and the only reason why I'm telling you guys that I had a concussion right now. It's the nature of society. I've said this many times before without going on a rant. The stigma around mental health is insane. Everyone deals with it. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone deals with it in some form or another during their life. Right now, during COVID, a lot of people do, but and that's also why the stigma is really hard for the progress of getting people better, because people have to hide it, or people, talk and say these things. And I think I should get the benefit of the doubt from it, because I've been honest with it. If I would have those issues again, which are not happening, I would be honest about it. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because a mental health problem is no different than a knee problem or a shoulder problem or something like that. It's treatable, except the stigma. The stigma makes it harder for people that struggles with mental health stuff. I mean, a person that keep having MCL or ACL surgeries throughout his career still gets a shot, still don't get looked at the same way as someone that might have a couple of mental issues that they figure out with a psychiatrist instead of a doctor, get a medicine instead of a surgery, and it's way more common for a lot of people. It's just people can't say it, and that's unfortunate. But that's why I'm honest by saying I had a concussion. Teams usually don't say those things, but I thought it was important to say that, because I've heard those rumors that, oh, maybe he's back at rehab or whatnot, but it's what it is.
Robin, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Hey, Tomas. Pete DeBoer said recently that, you're starting to look more like yourself on the ice again, I guess. Do you feel more kind of in rhythm than you were maybe when you first came back from your diagnosis?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was obvious. last couple of games were much better than the games before. I've been out for almost 3 weeks, so it might be it. And now I feel much better. So yeah, uh, feeling much better.
This question goes to Justin Emerson, Las Vegas Sun.
Hey, Tomas, we just talked to Robin Lehner. Fleury's obviously been fantastic for the last month and a half or so, but what does it do for you guys knowing that he's close to returning and that you'll be able to have that 1A and 1B goalie tandem back?
Yeah, it's a great advantage, I think, to have two goalies like that. And if one's get tired, the other one can fill in. And it's a big thing for sure. We got two strong goalies, and we know both can win the game. So that's important for us, and we trust them both.
Next question will go to Willie Ramirez from the Associated Press.
Tomas, the other day I asked Jonathan a question. I just asked Pete about recovery time, and Jonathan mentioned the big thing this season, because there's not those extra days. You're playing so many every other days, coming home from road trips, playing, a day later. And he said the biggest thing is getting sleep, especially for the family guys. And you have a newborn at home. And how tough is it as far as getting sleep and recovery? Because that's just as important as exercise and stretching and massage and cupping, whatever it is you do for your muscles. For your sleep, how much sleep are you getting, would you say, on average, and how difficult is it?
Yeah, it's a little bit harder than usually, but I think everyone has the same kind of schedule, so we can complain about it, and we have to deal with that and try to get as much sleep as I can, especially on the road with just two kids now at home. But it is what it is. But I have no problem with that. I can sleep when they sleep, my kids. So yeah, I know it's hard, but it is what it is, and we have to deal with it.
Time for a couple more here with Tomas Nosek. We'll go to Paul Strzelecki, NHL.com.
Good morning, Tomas. I wanted to ask you about Zdeno Chara. I don't know if you know him personally, but he turns 44 years old tomorrow. Just wanted to hear your reflection on what you think about when you see a guy that old playing in the NHL, and what would you like to be doing when you're 44?
I have no idea when I'm going to be at that age. It's remarkable that he can still play in NHL on the top level. It's great, and he's a great hockey player, great leader. He's been showing it for a long time. And I wish I can play that long in NHL too.
Tomas Nosek, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks.
Hey, Keegan, we just talked to Robin Lehner. Fleury's obviously been fantastic over the last month and a half or so, but what does it do for you guys to have kind of your two goalie 1A, 1B tandem close to back together?
It's huge. To have two guys with their pedigree holding down the back end like that, it's huge. I thought the guys that have come in, whether it be Logan Thompson or Oscar Dance, they did a great job. But to have guys of their pedigree and their status in this league and what they've done, it's reassuring for sure.
Go to Jesse Granger with The Athletic.
Hey, Keegan, Misha Donskov has been on the ice with you guys a lot more this season. Can you just talk about the work he's done with you and maybe how that's translated into your game, those skills that he works on at practice?
Yeah, it's huge. He's a very intellectual guy. He watches every game, not just ours, but around the league. So he's obviously going to pick up on things that guys are doing to, set them apart from others. And for us, you see me, Revo, Carrier, Wazzy, a lot of guys trying to just work every day on building our skill set up and trying to, improve.
Next question for Keegan comes from Willie Ramirez, Associated Press.
Hey, Keegan, you got a couple of fights under your belt. I believe one opponent had a broken bone on the result of a nice right hook. And the other night you stood up for Ryan Reeves. I'm wondering if the guys are giving you any of the business inside that you're standing up for Ryan in that last one, and you've somewhat become the lookout, the watchdog for the team.
I don't know. I think it's just time and place. I think my first one, the guy asked me, so I looked at him. I was like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I thought I could win that one. And it's just time and place in the other one. Revo backs up everyone on this team, any given night, no matter who it may be. So sometimes you have to do stuff like that and let him know that, you've got his back and he's not the only one.
We'll pause just a moment. If there's any final questions for Golden Knights forward Keegan Kolesar. Keegan, thanks for doing this.
Thanks, guys.
That'll conclude this morning's media availability. Thanks everyone for taking the time. We'll send out recordings in just a bit.